Alright, so this is going to be a quick video on running these LED, or really any LED turn signals on the pre-bug, along with one of these adjustable relays. So the Zuma ones actually come stock with 2-pin relays like this. So you can just plug these right in, and what this does is it's a digital turn signal flasher basically. So how these normal ones work is it's a little metal filament in there that kind of heats up, and when it heats up enough, it'll fling over, disconnect, and it cools down and it flings back. So as the resistance builds up and the heat builds up, it'll move it back and forth basically. But when you're running LED turn signals, the resistance is a lot lower, so it moves a lot faster because it heats up and cools down way faster. So that's why when you have the any LED turn signals plugged in, and this goes for pretty much any bike, it'll do this hyper flashing like this. So you can see I have the LED ones there, and I have the stock ones in the back. So what you can do is run these adjustable relays. You plug them in, and there's a screw in there, and you turn it, and you can adjust how fast it flashes. These ones you can't do that, obviously. But this you can plug right into the Zuma ones. The Zuma 2s is a different story. They actually have these 4-pin relays on here, which I'm not a big fan of, because what this does is it splits the turn signals and your indicator turn signal light into two separate paths. I'm not really sure why Yamaha decided to do that. Honestly, I really like the design of this one better, because then no matter what relay you run, no matter what turn signals you run, your indicator light on top will still blink because it's hooked onto the same circuit. So with this one, it's not the same story. So unfortunately, if you're going to run this on a Zuma 2 and you have this 4-pin style connector instead of the 2-pin, you're not going to have an indicator light on your gauge cluster. So some people might not like that. Obviously, it's not ideal. This just won't blink when your turn signals are on, so you're not going to know your turn signals are on unless you look down at your switch. This one, you have the light on there. You'll know it's still got the 2-pin, so it's fine. You just plug this in and you're good to go. You don't need to change any of the wiring. This one, you can run the 2-pin on here. Like I said, that's not going to work, and all you have to do is swap 2 wires on here. So what you do is you take the 4-pin connector off here. So the one all the way to the far right is actually your positive. The one in the middle is your negative, which we're not going to use. And then this is your indicator light, and this white one, this white and brown, is your turn signal leg for the switch. So what we want to do is actually swap this yellow one, which is your indicator light, and this white one, which is the actual turn signals. And when you go to plug this in, you would think you plug it in like this orientation, but you actually don't. You have to flip it 90 degrees or it won't fit in and the pins won't be aligned properly. All right, so it plugs in like this. So if you have your ground on the bottom, it'll be like that. So what sucks about these is the screw is now actually behind, the adjustment screw is actually behind the connector. On the Zuma 1s, you can access the adjustment screw while it's plugged in, so you can run the turn signals and adjust it and see how fast. This, you actually need to take it off, turn it a little bit, then put it back on. It doesn't need much to adjust it, and honestly, most of the times when you plug this in, I'd say 9 out of 10 times it's going to be set to the proper timing. So now you'll notice what happens if I turn this on. This is just going to keep blinking, and your turn signals are not going to work no matter what you do. So what we need to do is swap these two wires right here. So what I actually recommend doing is not swapping them at this plug, but swapping them at this one, because these connectors are a lot easier to get out. So what we're gonna do, take this connector out, and then you're gonna take either a pick, or you can use like even a paper clip, but small screwdriver works the best. So we're gonna move this one here and move the other one to the left. All right, so I got one of these out. All you do to remove these pins is stick it in the right there, and there's the tab on there. You just push it down and you pull it out. And then when you put these in, you want to make sure these tabs are bent back up so they actually catch when you plug them in. So take a look at this, and you want this reversed to what it was originally. So the yellow was originally on the right, so we're going to move that to the left. Just push it in like that. Then you'll hear a click once it's locked all the way in. And then we just plug this one in. Now you can take your little relay harness right here, plug that back in. So what we've done is we've moved the indicator relay, or the indicator light and the turn signal lights, and swapped them. We moved them over. So now turn the bike on, and your indicator light will not flash anymore, but your turn signals will flash. So you can see it's left, and that's right. And since this is a digital turn signal or flasher relay and not analog one, it doesn't have that like actual relay clicking sound. So just be mindful of that. Like you can't hear that the turn signals are on anymore. So that's all there is to running this 2-pin relay on here. I do sell these turn signals on my site. They're available at zoomandzuma.com, as well as this 2-pin relay is also going to be available on there now. You can run, you can run whatever LED lights that you want on here, and this 2-pin relay is going to work no matter what. And even if you have the OEM turn signals on here, the old incandescent ones, you can still run this too. So if you can't find that 4-pin relay, which they are getting harder and harder to find, you can run this in place of that, and it'll still do the same exact thing. It'll still work the same way. Like I said, the only downside is that your indicator turn signal light up here is not going to work. But for those of you that run naked bars, I know a lot of people do on these now, it's really not that big of a deal because you don't have your whole gauge cluster anyways. So if anybody has any questions or comments, just leave them down below. I'll leave the link for both of these in the description. And yeah, that's all there is to it.